65 million years ago, Earth witnessed a cataclysmic asteroid impact, extinguishing countless species while many perished due to natural shifts such as climate change or geological events. More recently, human activities, such as overhunting and habitat destruction, drove many to extinction. Some vanished before the age of photography, leaving only faint traces. Others were captured on film, offering poignant glimpses of their dwindling existence. In these poignant photographs, we catch fleeting glimpses of 20 creatures now lost to time. Number 1. Bali tiger. Its tale is one of tragedy, as it became the first tiger subspecies to vanish from the earth in more recent times. The last official record of a Bali tiger was a female, her life cut short by a bullet in the forests of West Bali on September 27, 1937. Yet whispers persist that these majestic beasts may have lingered on for a few more years, perhaps until the late 1940s or even the 1950s. In the traditional beliefs of Bali, the tiger held a prominent place, though not always as a benevolent figure. Viewed as a destructive force, efforts to eradicate it continued until its extinction was sealed. Adorned in dark yellowish-orange fur with fewer black stripes than its counterparts, the Bali tiger possessed a unique charm. Some individuals even boasted small black spots amidst their coat. Their faces bore distinctive bar-shaped patterns, and the white fur of their bellies was marked by curved and distinct lines. The demise of the Bali tiger was a result of relentless hunting and the loss of its natural habitat, a sobering reminder of the delicate balance between human activity and the survival of Earth's magnificent creatures. Number 2. Thylacine, the largest carnivorous marsupial of modern times and the final representative of the Thylacinidae family. Often shrouded in mystery, it's sometimes referred to as a cryptid, a creature of myth and legend. Once widespread across mainland Australia, Tasmania and New Guinea, the thylacine met its demise in the 20th century. It vanished from the mainland around 2 millennia ago, with New Guinea losing its specimens even earlier, but it clung to existence in the island sanctuary of Tasmania until the 1930s. The story of its decline is one of human impact. Hunting and the encroachment of the dingo, a competing predator, played significant roles. In Tasmania, European settlers introduced dogs, which exacerbated the thylacine's plight. Bounty hunting, driven by fears for livestock, further decimated their numbers. From 1888 to 1909, over 2,000 bounties were paid by the government to eradicate the species. By the early 20th century, the once abundant thylacine faced a sudden and catastrophic decline. In 1936, it was declared extinct. The last wild thylacine met its end in 1930, slain by a farmer named Wilf Batty in northeast Tasmania. The last known individual, dubbed Benjamin, was captured by Elias Churchill in the Florentine Valley in 1933. It spent its final years in captivity at Hobart Zoo before succumbing to extinction. Though officially declared extinct by the International Union for Conservation of Nature in 1982, sightings persist, sparking fascination and hope. Reports still emerge from Tasmania and mainland Australia, particularly in southern Victoria, keeping the legend of the thylacine alive in the public imagination. Number 3. The Caspian tiger. The Caspian tiger, a majestic subspecies of Panthera tigris, once roamed the vast expanses of the earth. Known for its immense size, it stood among the largest cats to ever grace the planet. Sadly, it is now considered extinct, its disappearance officially recognized by the International Union for Conservation of Nature in 2003. As early as the 1920s, signs of the Caspian tiger's decline began to surface. By then, it had vanished from the Tarim River basin in Xinjiang, China. The last confirmed sighting occurred in 1958 near the Afghanistan border. By the 1960s, the Caspian tiger had faded from the Manasi River basin, and the final glimpse in the lower reaches of the Amu Darya River near the Aral Sea region came in 1968. Historical records paint a picture of their habitat preference, with sparse forests near lake edges, river basins, and watercourses serving as their domain. Their range spanned from the south and west of the Caspian Sea, stretching across Turkey, Iran, and into the Taklamakan Desert of Xinjiang, China. The demise of the Caspian tiger can be attributed to a multitude of factors. They faced relentless persecution from hunting parties and the Russian army, tasked with clearing predators to make way for agriculture and settlements near forests. Human population growth and deforestation further constricted their habitat and depleted their prey species, particularly in the mid-19th century. Natural disasters and diseases may have also contributed to their decline, sealing the fate of this magnificent feline forever. Number 4. Barbary lion. The Barbary lion, a formidable subspecies of Panthera leo, once roamed the vast landscapes of northern Africa, its majestic presence defining the region. Yet, since the middle of the 20th century, it has been deemed extinct, leaving behind only echoes of its former glory. In its native range, the Barbary lion faced challenges on both eastern and western fronts. Arid conditions limited its population density on the eastern side, leading to its complete disappearance from those regions by the early 18th century. Only a scattered population remained, clinging to the rugged slopes of the Atlas mountain range. Hunting emerged as a primary threat to the Barbary lion's existence, compounded by ecological changes driven by human expansion. By the mid-19th century, their numbers had dwindled significantly, exacerbated by deforestation and the depletion of natural food sources. The encroaching desertification further isolated the Barbary lion from its southern counterparts, sealing its fate as a distinct subspecies. In Tunisia, the last survivors vanished by the 1890s, with the official record marking the extinction's final blow in 1942 in Western Maghreb. Yet, sightings persisted in Algeria and Morocco until the 1950s, hinting at a stubborn resilience that endured against the odds. Though the last remnants may have lingered until the 1960s, the Barbary lion ultimately succumbed to the relentless pressures of human activity and environmental change, leaving behind a legacy of awe and lamentation. Number 5. Quagga. A distinctive subspecies of plains zebra called quagga once roamed the vast plains of South Africa until the late 19th century. Initially classified as a separate species, scientific studies in 1980 revealed it as the southernmost variant of the plains zebra, marked by its unique coloration and sparse stripe patterns. Unlike its striped counterparts, the quagga boasted a striking appearance, with dark stripes adorning the front of its body, while the rear displayed a rich brown hue reminiscent of a horse. Individual variations in stripe shape and pattern added to its allure, while its legs remained conspicuously devoid of stripes. Thriving in the Karoo of the Cape Province and the southern reaches of the Free State, the quagga's existence was imperiled by overhunting, driven by both sport and sustenance. Dutch settlers and Afrikaners alike sought their meat and skins, viewing them as competitors to domestic livestock for precious forage. Some were even captured and shipped off to European zoos, further depleting their numbers. By the 1850s, the quagga had vanished from much of its native habitat, with only a dwindling population remaining in the Orange Free State by the late 1870s. The last wild specimen met its demise in 1878, marking the end of an era. Curiously, the term quagga became synonymous with all zebras in Afrikaans, leading to confusion about their distinctiveness. By the time their uniqueness was recognized, it was too late, and the quagga slipped silently into the annals of extinction, leaving behind a legacy of fascination and regret. Number 6. The northern Sumatran rhinoceros. The northern Sumatran rhinoceros, also known as the Chittagong rhinoceros or northern hairy rhinoceros, once thrived as the most widespread subspecies of Sumatran rhinoceros and the sole representative native to mainland Asia. Despite being declared extinct multiple times in the early 20th century, whispers of its continued existence persist, albeit with great skepticism. Some reports suggest small populations may endure in the wild, lingering in remote areas like Burma and the Malaysian Peninsula. Renowned and revered in Chinese literature, the northern Sumatran rhinoceros holds a special place in ancient and modern Chinese art, with depictions gracing countless paintings and statues of the two-horned marvel. Colonial naturalists and hunters of the mid-19th to early 20th centuries collected a trove of folk tales surrounding the Sumatran rhino, enriching its mythos with each passing generation. Notoriously elusive and reluctant breeders in captivity, northern Sumatran rhinoceroses are bound to their native ecosystems. Attempts at conservation through captive breeding have met with limited success, with the last recorded birth in a zoo occurring in the Alipore Zoological Gardens of India in 1889. Among the London Zoo's collection in 1872 were a male and female pair captured in Chittagong in 1868. Sadly, the female, named Begum, passed away in 1900, marking the end of an era and highlighting the fragility of this majestic species. Number 7, the Cape lion. The Cape lion, a now extinct species of lions, vanished from existence around the third quarter of the 19th century. Today, a single photograph taken in Paris' Jardin des Plantes in 1860 serves as the sole known image of this majestic creature. Only a handful of natural history museums preserve replicas of Cape lion skulls and mounted specimens in their collections. The precise details surrounding the extinction of these formidable lions remain a subject of ongoing debate and research. While some theories abound, most scientists agree that the demise of the Cape lion was not attributed to a single cause, but rather a combination of factors. Contact with European settlers in South African colonies precipitated a rapid decline in the Cape lion population, as they were hunted relentlessly alongside many other animal species. While habitat destruction may have played a role, evidence suggests its contribution to their extinction was minor compared to the impact of hunting pressures. As researchers continue to delve into the history and ecology of the Cape lion, the story of their disappearance serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of human intervention on vulnerable species. Number 8, the eastern cougar. The eastern cougar, also known as the eastern puma, was once a prominent feline presence in eastern North America, but has since been declared extinct by authorities. Despite this official status, there remains ongoing debate and disagreement regarding the true extinction of these cats. Interestingly, reports of sightings, paw prints, tracks, droppings, and even alleged encounters with eastern cougars have seen an uptick in recent years. This resurgence in reported activity has fueled speculation and hope among some that these elusive creatures may still roam the wilderness. In 2011, an evaluation conducted by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service unofficially declared the long-tailed puma subspecies extinct. However, in the same year, the agency launched an extensive review into the status of the eastern cougar. By 2015, the conclusion was reached that the animal no longer warranted protection under the Endangered Species Act, leading to its delisting. The saga of the eastern cougar serves as a reminder of the complexities surrounding species conservation and the ongoing quest to understand the ever-changing dynamics of wildlife populations. Number 9, the Bubal hartebeest. According to 19th century accounts, the Bubal hartebeest favored rocky terrain with ample vegetation, unlike the sandy and arid habitat preferred by the addax. Its primary predator was the now extinct Barbary lion, Originally, the booble hartebeest ranged across North Africa from Morocco to Egypt, where it disappeared earlier. It was also documented in the southern Levant before the Iron Age, with some historical records suggesting its presence in Israel and Arabia, albeit with limited substantiation. The species' northernmost habitat extended to the Mediterranean coast, with reports of sizable herds in Morocco north of the Atlas Mountains as late as 1738. There were mentions of wild oxen living in the Tassili Mountains of the Central Sahara in 1850, although the precise identity of these animals remains debated. The booble hartebeest suffered a drastic decline during the 19th century, particularly following the French conquest of Algeria, during which entire herds were massacred by colonial military forces. By 1867, its range had shrunk to the mountainous regions of northwestern Africa, near or within the Saharan desert. It vanished from the Tunisian Atlas by 1870, with the last recorded specimen in the country shot in 1902 near Tataouine. By the turn of the 20th century, the booble hartebeest was confined to the Western Atlas, stretching from Boulamain in Morocco to the south of the Wahran department in Algeria. The last known herd, comprising a mere 15 animals, was spotted near Outat El Hajj, Morocco, in 1917, and tragically all but 3 fell to the same hunter. Number 10, tarpan horse. The tarpan, a European wild horse, once roamed in small herds across remote regions of Central Europe during the Middle Ages, but sadly it succumbed to extinction in the early 20th century. There is evidence to suggest that the late survivors may have interbred with domesticated horses. Originally, tarpan horses were abundant throughout Eurasia, but over time their numbers dwindled. There is some debate surrounding the precise timeline of their extinction, with opinions varying. Many of the free-roaming tarpan horses reported since the 18th century were likely feral domestic horses that had interbred with wild horses rather than purebred tarpan. However, efforts to preserve the essence of the tarpan live on in many animal parks and zoos today. Through selective breeding programs involving breeds closely related to the tarpan, horses resembling the original wild tarpan have been bred back into existence. These modern iterations closely mirror the appearance and characteristics of their ancestors, keeping the spirit of the tarpan alive for future generations to appreciate. Number 11, the golden toad. The golden toad, designated as extinct by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, was notable for its remarkable sexual dimorphism. Discovered by herpetologist J. Savage in 1964, the species experienced a rapid decline despite once being relatively abundant. By 1987, sightings of more than 1,500 adults had been recorded, but by 1988, the population had plummeted to a mere 10 to 11 individuals. The very last recorded sighting occurred on May 15, 1989. Numerous theories have been proposed to explain the sudden disappearance of the golden toad. From 1987 onwards, the population of 20 toad and frog species within a 30 square kilometer range in the Monteverde area of Costa Rica saw a steady decline, with no signs of recovery. Despite the absence of direct human influences in the region, other factors are believed to have contributed to the threat to their ecosystem. Toads and frogs in general are vulnerable to ultraviolet radiation, pollution, and climate change. Scientists speculate that habitat loss, deforestation, and the spread of chytrid fungus may have played significant roles in the sudden extinction of the golden toad and the decline of other amphibian species in the area. Number 12, the Caribbean monk seal. The Caribbean monk seal, once thriving in the subtropical waters of the Caribbean, is now believed to be extinct. The last confirmed sighting occurred in 1952 at the Serranilla Bank, where a small colony was known to reside. These seals were closely related to the critically endangered Mediterranean monk seals, and Hawaiian monk seals. Unique to the American tropics, the Caribbean monk seal faced extinction around 1960, marking the end of an era. Historical records trace back to Christopher Columbus's second voyage and Juan Ponce de Leon's discovery of the dry Tortugas Islands, offering glimpses into its once abundant presence. The primary driver behind the demise of Monachus tropicalis was relentless hunting. Hunters pursued these seals relentlessly, slaughtering them in large numbers for the valuable oil stored within their blubber. Known for their approachable nature, the lack of aggression made them easy targets for exploitation. In the 17th and 18th centuries, directed hunts decimated their populations, with sugar plantation owners dispatching hunters to kill hundreds for their oil, used as lubricant for machinery. By 1850, the population had dwindled to such an extent that commercial hunting became unsustainable. Overfishing of their prey species compounded the seals' plight, leaving them vulnerable to starvation. Despite efforts to protect them, the Caribbean monk seal could not withstand the onslaught of human exploitation, leaving behind a legacy of loss and regret in the annals of marine conservation. Number 13, the Carolina parakeet. The Carolina parakeet, a vibrant species of small neotropical parrot, boasted a vivid green body, complemented by a striking yellow head, reddish-orange face, and pale beak. Native to the eastern, midwestern, and plains states of the United States, it held the distinction of being the sole indigenous parrot within its range, alongside the thick-billed parrot, the only other Native American parrot. Stretching from southern New York and Wisconsin to Kentucky, Tennessee, and the Gulf of Mexico, and reaching as far west as eastern Colorado, the Carolina parakeet inhabited diverse habitats, including old-growth forests along rivers and swamps. Revered by indigenous peoples, it was known as Pusi Lane, head of yellow, or Pot Pot Chi, by the Seminole and Kelinki in Chickasaw lore. Despite once being abundant within its range, the Carolina parakeet's numbers dwindled significantly by the mid-19th century. The last confirmed sighting in the wild occurred in 1910, signaling the beginning of its decline towards extinction. Tragically, the last known specimen perished in captivity at the Cincinnati Zoo in 1918, marking the end of an era. The Carolina parakeet was officially declared extinct in 1939, leaving behind only memories and echoes of its once vibrant presence in the American landscape. Number 14, Seychelles giant tortoise. Like similar tortoise species on other Indian Ocean islands, the Seychelles giant tortoise faced relentless hunting during the 19th century, eventually leading to its extinction in the wild by the 1840s. Before this decline, it inhabited marshy areas and streams feeding on vegetation. The status of the Seychelles giant tortoise remains a subject of controversy, with debates revolving around whether it is extinct altogether or only in the wild. A study conducted in 2011 shed light on the situation, revealing a population of 28 adult tortoises in captivity, along with 8 adults and 40 juveniles introduced to Cousin Island, suggesting the possibility that these may indeed be Seychelles giant tortoises. Additionally, Jonathan, a Seychelles tortoise residing on St. Helena Island, earned a spot in the Guinness World Records as the world's oldest living land mammal, reaching the remarkable age of 187. Number 15, Western black rhino. The tragic fate of the rhinoceros due to rampant poaching is exemplified by the Western black rhinoceros. Once thriving across central West Africa, it was officially declared extinct in 2011. Despite initial conservation efforts dating back to the 1930s, which helped the population rebound from historic hunting pressures, the species faced a sharp decline in protection by the 1980s, leading to a surge in poaching. By the turn of the 21st century, only 10 individuals remained, all of which fell victim to poachers by 2006. While the western black rhinoceros has been lost forever, its larger cousin, the black rhinoceros, persists in eastern and southern Africa, albeit critically endangered and under constant threat from poaching. Number 16, Sicilian wolf. Aside from the Sicilian wolf, numerous local grey wolf species have faced severe population declines, with some even going extinct before scientists were aware. Whether due to indiscriminate hunting or habitat loss, their final days in the wild were fraught with hardship, largely thanks to human activities. Among these wolf species were those that once roamed Sicily, known as Sicilian wolves. Once thriving on the largest island in the Mediterranean Sea, they gradually dwindled and disappeared. Resembling their counterparts in Italy, they inhabited the Siberian steppes and were characterized by their lighter, tawny-colored coat with dark bands across their forelimbs. Feeding on livestock owned by farmers, the Sicilian wolf earned the enmity of these landowners, leading to relentless efforts to protect their animals by any means necessary, including the mass killing of wolves. Additionally, environmental disasters further compounded the plight of the Sicilian wolf, contributing to their eventual extinction. Number 17. The Japanese sea lion. The Japanese sea lion, once a celebrated inhabitant of the ocean surrounding the Japanese archipelago and the Korean peninsula, is now only remembered through legends, museum exhibits, and textbooks. Despite once freely swimming and basking along the shores, researchers have confirmed that the Japanese sea lion no longer exists in its native habitat. In its prime, an estimated 30,000 to 5,000 Japanese sea lions populated the shores. But their numbers drastically declined, particularly in the 1970s, leading to their eventual extinction. Unlike many other species, the Japanese sea lion had no natural predators, but fell victim to relentless human exploitation. Hunters targeted them for their valuable whiskers, skin, and internal organs, while others were captured and sold to circuses. The Japanese sea lion also faced persecution as bycatch in fishing activities, further contributing to its demise. It endured significant hardships before ultimately succumbing to the relentless pressures inflicted by human activities. Number 18. Guam flying fox. Guam, a picturesque tropical island nestled in the Pacific Ocean, was once the habitat of a diminutive creature known as the Guam flying fox, a type of Mariana's fruit bat. Sadly, the International Union for Conservation of Nature has declared them extinct, as they have not been sighted since the 1970s. It has been many years since hunters claimed the lives of the last remaining Guam flying foxes, and reliable sightings have been absent ever since. While alive, these bats faced their greatest threat from humans, who hunted them for their meat, considering them a dependable food source. Additionally, the relentless expansion of human settlements led to the destruction of their natural habitats, as developers cleared land for residential purposes. Although little is known about their behavior, it is believed that Guam flying foxes primarily fed on evergreen shrubs, flowers, fruits, and foliage. Their reproductive habits remain somewhat mysterious, but observations from an individual captured in 1968 suggest that both males and females were involved in parental care. Despite these insights, the tragic extinction of the Guam flying fox serves as a somber reminder of the devastating impacts of human activity on vulnerable wildlife populations. Number 19, the dodo. The dodo, a flightless bird belonging to the Columbidae family, was native solely to the island of Mauritius. The earliest documented mention of this bird dates back to 1598, recounted by Dutch sailors. Initially regarded by many as mythical creatures, the dodo's existence became known to the world through these sailors' accounts. The primary driver behind the dodo's extinction was hunting for meat, a practice that remained unchecked for a significant period. Sailors indiscriminately slaughtered thousands of dodos, sometimes killing as many as 50 in a single outing. Additionally, the introduction of animals to the island by these sailors posed a further threat, as dodo eggs and chicks became easy prey. It has been proposed that the dodo population may have been declining even before human arrival on the island. If these birds had inhabited remote areas, their extinction might not have occurred as rapidly as it did. While the exact timeline of the dodo's extinction remains uncertain, the widely accepted date is 1662. The last purported sighting is recorded in the hunting records of Isaac Johannes Lamotius in 1688. Despite its tragic demise, the dodo continues to capture the imagination of people worldwide as a symbol of extinction and the impact of human activity on vulnerable species. Number 20. Baiji white dolphin. The Baiji white dolphin, once a prominent inhabitant of China's Yangtze River, sadly became functionally extinct in 2006, leaving future generations unable to encounter this remarkable species. Despite rumors of their existence persisting among scientists, extensive studies failed to uncover any traces of these dolphins. Measuring 2 meters in length, Baiji dolphins were recognizable by their long beaks and pale gray skin, earning them the affectionate titles of Goddess of the Yangtze or Goddess of the Baiji. Adapted for swift swimming, they were skilled navigators in the murky river environment. Feeding primarily on fish, they relied on sound rather than sight to navigate, owing to their poor eyesight. The decline of Baiji dolphins began in the 1950s due to the construction of dams and other structures that disrupted their natural habitat and movement patterns. Pollution from nearby factories further exacerbated their plight. Regrettably, the last known individual perished in 2002, marking the tragic end of a once thriving species that had long been an integral part of the Yangtze River ecosystem. As we conclude our list, it's sobering to recognize that these animals, among many others, are now distant memories relegated to books and museums, unlikely to be witnessed by us or future generations. We extend special recognition to the individuals and organizations worldwide who tirelessly dedicate themselves to the preservation of species. This serves as a poignant reminder of our responsibility as stewards of the Earth to prioritize the preservation of habitats and organisms in our care. Let us heed this call with the seriousness it deserves, ensuring that we safeguard the precious biodiversity of our planet for generations to come. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to stay updated on